I realize this is like a full minute long, which is longer than we normally let the music go.
I know, but I really like this music.
It's good. It's good.
I was
yeah.
just sitting here grooving to it.
It really gets you in the mood. It's like,
it-
what's happening? What's
it
going
gets
on
me
in
going.
there?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of words, recorder of videos, and a tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to a special guest adventure by Chris Alien RPG, Chariot of the Gods, episode number 2. Need to update. Sorry, I didn't do that. You're back to Dungeon Master. It's because I played last night as Dungeon Master because I didn't want to be the game mother.
Yeah,
You're the game mother.
You keep having to move it around. Yeah.
I'll change it in a second. We stream our sessions live on YouTube every Friday. Watch all of our D&D live series as well as reviews here on the channel. You can also listen to all of these live shows with the Rogue Watson podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at Rogue Watson and join our official Discord server with invite link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. Patrons get exclusive access to private videos, custom 5e content, and participate in monthly DM roundtables and Patreon D&D games. For our campaign, we use Roll20. For video chat, we use Discord. For streaming, I use Open Broadcaster software with Streamlabs. And for game mothering, I always use Mr. Chris.
That's right. I am your game mother.
Yeah, you are.
All right, let's do a recap. I'll turn on the cool music for the recap, too. The crew of the USCSS Montero wake from cryosleep. The space truckers are hauling highly flammable tritium from a station to a colony world, a journey of 11 weeks, mostly spent in cryosleep. The crew consists of 5 people: Captain Vanessa Miller, Pilot Leah Davis, Handler Lyron Cham, Mechanic Kayla Ray, and newcomer company agent Jennifer Wilson. After the usual post-cryo grogginess and breakfast, the crew get to business. They should be arriving at the colony known as Sutter's World with tritium that's decayed into helium-3. There are 2 problems the crew quickly discover. The tritium is only half decayed, and there's no colony planet in sight. Captain Miller receives an update from Mother, the ship's computer. They have been purposefully awakened from cryo about halfway through the trip and sent on a detour toward a mysterious distress signal. As Wilson reminds everyone, their contracts mandate they follow company policies and rules or forfeit their earnings, and that includes investigating distress signals. Growing a bit anxious, the ship heads toward the signal. Suddenly, a huge black shape comes directly careening toward them. Only the white-knuckled skills of Davis keep them from colliding with the mysterious ship. As it passes by, Wilson is shocked to identify the USCSS Cronus, a science vessel that has been lost for decades. The ship is 3 times the size of the Montero and flying through space on pure inertia. Davis once again shows off her piloting skills by matching speeds and extending the umbilical tunnel toward the other ship's airlock. Captain Miller is cautious about entering an old ghost ship. The entire science lab has been jettisoned and the ship appears to be in bad shape. On the other hand, the opportunity for salvage is impossible to pass up. Miller grabs her sidearm and begins organizing a boarding party. She wants Wilson to join them. She's particularly excited about finding this ship, but appears reluctant to actually step foot on board. Plus, Miller doesn't really trust her to remain behind. An argument breaks out, but Wilson holds strong. In resignation, Miller leaves behind Cham to keep an eye on things. The other 3, Miller, Davis, and Rye, suit up in spacesuits and arm themselves with some gear, including a bolt gun and a cutting torch. Miller tells Cham that they'll remain in communication the whole time, but if something happens, something bad, she tells him to leave them behind rather than come in after them. The trio walk across the boarding tunnel toward the airlock of the Cronus. Already something isn't right. The tunnel never stabilized, and the airlock door appears damaged, bulging from the inside. They'll have to cut their way in.
That was my recap.
That was your recap. I told you. I just took out the parts where you mentioned like specific like out of game mechanics and just turned that into the recap.
Well done. So it's Miller, Davis, and the kid that are
Rye, your
Rye.
mechanic. Yep. Who is the kind of asshole young woman who wanted to be paid more and doesn't want to do anything without getting paid for it.
Gotcha. You're heading down the space tunnel.
You
The
are
umbilical. What do they call
the
it?
umbilical. That's right. So this is a hard tunnel that is extending out between your two ships, and it has kind of airlock to the Cronus, but it can't pressurize. You all, as you stand on this tunnel, you note that you don't really have gravity. You didn't think you were going to out here on this umbilical, but the temperature is still below freezing. You're deep space esque, and there's no oxygen out here. You look down the tunnel and you can see the airlock to the Cronus at the end of the umbilical tunnel, which is maybe only 30, 40 feet long. And it is bulged from the outside. The wheel that might be used to open it manually has buckled and looks just immediately useless.
I'll ask Rye, the mechanic, what do you make of that?
Yet. An explosion? Decompression from the inside? That doesn't make sense. No, it's an explosion of some kind. Something happened in there. I don't know.
Does anyone see any other ways in?
Davis, you would actually know that as you guys flew in, you noted there were no other airlock ways in. The only other ways in that you could see were like you would have to get out of the ship in spacesuits and do a spacewalk to try to like get to one of the hatches and get in manually. This is the only umbilical connection on this ship. Rye does say,
I was gonna say, can you cut your way inside safely?
Sure.
We know if that door is not going to explode outward with pressure.
If it was no, I don't think so. But I mean, that's not really the way. She's thinking hard. She's not.
Yeah.
She eventually turns. You go. I don't think so. I think I can cut in. Although I don't think she is the one with the cutting torch. If I don't remember.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yep. Me and
Okay.
Davis.
Okay.
Okay.
What are you skilled at torch cutting? I don't know what skill that is.
That would be a heavy machinery roll.
Heavy machinery.
Um,
I'm not skilled in it, but I am pretty
not
strong.
much. I have one skill in it, but yeah, I have 1 point
You're
plus
mildly.
2.
That's worse than my overall strength of 4, I think, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You add.
I'm not
yeah,
skilled,
you
but
add,
I'm just strong.
You would add the
That's not right.
attribute number to the skill number.
Yeah.
Yes. That's.
But would I know if Rye, you said is the mechanic, right?
So Rye's the mechanic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I'm turning to Rye and being like, if she would assume, because I'm assuming I'm the captain, I would know what everybody's skill sets are.
That's true.
I'd be like, hey, do you think you can do this?
Yeah, you and another Rye. I don't know if yours and hers are too different. She has a very high strength. She's got a 4 strength, but she only has a 1 machinery, heavy machinery.
Still the best, I think, out of us.
Still the best. Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely, Davis. If you want to give her the cutting torch, she can start to cut into it.
Where are we again?
So yeah.
Where are we? We're on the umbilical.
You are in the umbilical tunnel. Think of like a convention center. I'm thinking of like comic. What's the one we used to go to? PAX. Like there's like a convention hall tunnel between 2 buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
thinking like
it's
when you get on an
wide.
airplane and there's like the
it's more
tunnel
like an
you
airplane.
take.
Yes.
It's a really
pretty
tight
little-
tunnel.
It's slightly wider than that. It's probably like
Yeah.
10 feet wide.
Yeah.
But it is like an airplane conduit. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Okay, I was sure we went somewhere else or something, but yeah, no, I can hand it over to her. And do note that it gives you a +2 to heavy machinery as well.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna put it in her thing because I'm just gonna she'll give it right back to you afterwards. I'm just gonna roll for her and just add a +2.
Mhm.
Okay. Rye spends about 5-10 minutes, just with this it's not that big. It's maybe like this, like a gun size. But she's having to hold it and sort of like maneuver it around bolts and hinges and trying to like just cut a shape that you all can get in that doesn't it's going to take the least amount of time, because cutting through like the actual hinges and bolts,
We're not gonna be able to close this door again.
you are not going to be able to close this door. That is, at the end of this, you realize you are not able to close this door again.
Yeah.
It has been cut open. So during that 5 to 10 minutes, however, I need all of you or the two of you, to give me air supply checks. And the only thing you should have to do is hit the air button on your character sheet. Okay, you both expend 1 unit of air.
Oh no. That's bad.
It is bad, yes. So the way this works is every 1 you roll. By the way, on the stress dice, the face hugger symbol, that's a 1.
Okay.
That's in case you had
It's kind of cute the way it shows up on Roll20 like that. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Now the scary part is if one of you had happened to roll 3 1s, you're breathing hard and expending a lot of oxygen, and your air runs out by 3.
Oh, great. Yeah. Just done so.
The good news is that as your oxygen goes out, you're rolling fewer dice, so the chance of you expending your air goes down. Because once you have 1 air unit left,
1 in 6.
it's a 1 in 6 chance, right?
How exciting!
But with that very solid heavy machinery roll, you guys do not have to roll more than once, and yeah, she is able to cut that open.
Hope there's some atmosphere or some life support system still working in this ship.
You all
want to be in these suits the whole time,
right? You all start going down into this ship from the airlock.
Which deck is that for the handout purposes?
So where you kind of reference the where you are on the ship to where the airlock is, and you identify that you are going to be coming down on deck A. I think it's called Junction A1, the Northern Junction.
How descriptive.
That's right. Which, I mean, the junctions are basically just mechanical access ladders. Like they just descend up and down the ship to access the different decks. But you recognize that is where you are going to come out at.
Okay.
Sorry, which deck or
Deck A?
Deck A. Okay.
Deck A is where you are going to come out at.
So Junction A2, you said?
A1, I think it's the northern one. I can't read it; it's too small on my screen.
Oh,
You
okay.
can click
The northern junction. Oh,
Okay.
That's why it was downloading. Junction A1. Yes, that's it.
And we have these readouts available to us as we're going along.
What, the deck plans?
Yeah, these handouts you gave us. Do our
Oh yeah,
characters have-
absolutely.
Okay.
They are like reading like telemetry on your helmet. You can reference the deck plans at will. You probably will need to.
Yeah.
Are there any lights on the inside?
Yeah,
Dark.
I guess.
So the first thing you notice is that no, there are no lights inside. And what you can do is as you leave the airlock area, you can seal one of the inner doors of the ship as you sort of get past this airlock section. It's kind of what a stereotypical airlock section, just like a 10 by 10 room with an inner door on the inside. You immediately note there is no power to any of these doors. You can manually open them. They're pretty easy to sort of manually slide open. But they are usually supposed to be, automated, or not automated, but you press a button and they slide open, press a button and slide closed.
No power.
Instead, you're having no power. After you get past the airlock room and are able to close the door behind you into the interior of the
But we
ship
can't
and look
close.
around. Well, you can't close the airlock door. So there's
Yeah.
there's like the airlock door, and then there's like the airlock room.
Okay, right, because you can't have them. You'd have shut one, and then
You'd have exactly. Yep. So once you get to the inner door and get past that,
then you can shut that.
Then
door.
you're on the inside of the ship. Yeah.
And that door is undamaged.
That door is generally undamaged, but you can look around this airlock room and see that somebody. I don't know if any of you are terribly familiar with like what a grenade explosion looks like, but someone set an explosion off in this room. The inner door is functional. It's not damaged the way the airlock door is, but you can see that what caused the airlock bulge is some sort of explosion that happened in this room. All the mechanics for it aren't working. You doubt the auto pressurization systems would have even worked had the power been on, because everything is so damaged.
Not something that usually happens at the airlock.
What are your orders, Captain?
I assume it's reading out there's no oxygen right now. There's no pressure or anything.
You are reading out that there is after you get out of the airlock room and get into the interior of the ship.
Okay.
You find yourself in just a junction room that just straight up all there is basically an access ladder that's going down into further levels of the ship. Once you're here, your suit starts reading out that there is minor amounts of oxygen here. You might be able to survive for a few minutes, in fact, but it is not fully functional. It is like as you look around, you can almost identify what this is. It's like a standby mode for a ship. Like the temperature isn't space temperature, like total absence of atmosphere, but it is
it's on
below
eco
freezing.
mode.
It's on eco mode. It's below it's below freezing. You can kind of see like a rime of frost on the metal catwalks that you're walking along. The temperature you're reading far more CO2 than you are oxygen, which is concerning. And the oxygen level is too low to really be outside of your suit for very long.
Well, we need to get to. I assume the bridge would be, where the command part of the ship is, life support, information. I see that Mother is on this level, but if the power's off, I don't know if Mother would be any use. Yeah, I think trying to get to the bridge seems like it's going to have the most amount of information. Now, it looks like we could just go down. You said this stairwell goes between levels, so we could go down one level and get on the bridge and see if there's any. And if not, we may have to, I guess, look at the power supply, because if we can't get any kind of power oxygen on this ship, it is going to cut our exploration time into a minimal level. And it looks like this ship is damaged, but still maybe functional in some ways, and we need to get some of that functionality up and running.
Look at the plans, Captain. You think anybody's asleep in the cryo chambers?
Do we know if that's something that would... I mean, if the power's off... I just don't know how cryo chambers work.
Yeah, it's physically possible. Like that. That's actually the main function of the cryo chambers is that a ship can go into eco mode. It can basically turn off all of its prime.
Uh-oh.
No.
Lost the game, Mother. I was worried that was me for a second. It's been freaking storming here. Are you guys getting storms down there?
Days, but not today.
Man, we got more. We had a violent storm just like push in for like 10 minutes. It was just like crazy thunder and wind. Oh, is he back?
You're back.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey.
That was it.
I can tell. Okay, I'm back. I was
You
literally
were
like checking my phone. It's like, is the internet still on my phone? I
Yeah,
don't.
it's slowly coming back. You were lagging for a second.
you froze
Okay.
for like 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was making weather small chat.
I
small talk.
heard you the entire time. I
Oh,
could hear you
did
talking.
you?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
okay.
talking. You guys were frozen on my screen, but I could
You
hear
followed my voice back to us.
you. That's right. Keep talking about your thunderstorms. I can hear you.
Why is he talking about the weather all of a sudden?
Yeah, I was
So
saying
the cryo chambers,
I was saying you would know that is the primary purpose of the cryo chambers. That well, besides extending a human's, not making them stay on a ship for 11 weeks or however
Yeah.
long, is that a ship can conserve energy by shutting off temperature control, oxygen control, all the basic life-giving functions, and going into standby mode and just sort of traveling that way. So it's a possibility.
If this were a horror movie, I'd suggest splitting up. Some of us go check out the cryo chamber. No, I think I would say if there's anyone in the cryo chamber, then they'll still be fine if they've survived this long. But we won't be if we can't get some kind of power, oxygen restored on this ship, even in some kind of limited capacity. I think we need to make it. And I need you to tell me if that's something that would be functional from the bridge, or if because power's out, it would be pointless for me to go to the bridge. Just based on my ship knowledge, I guess. I don't know what's specifically wrong with this ship, but if it's like a question of in rest mode, like, would I think to just go to the bridge and flip things on and things would work, or did I need to go check out maybe more serious issue? But maybe I'd go to the bridge first just to see.
You go to the bridge first to check.
Okay.
But you would think that if the power was totally like turned to like standby mode or turned off or shut, or there was no power, the bridge would not be you would not be able to restart functionality from there. That could probably only be done from the reactor, from the power center of the ship, which is, I believe, down on deck C.
Of course it is. The furthest possible.
That's right.
But I would still probably suggest going
out,
to the bridge first just to see. I think that's our best course of action. And it looks like it's relatively close.
Yeah. Okay.
And do I need to be making, like, calling out active I don't know if like passive perception's a thing in this game, or if I need to be making observation checks, because clearly we're going to be going through this like very much like looking at shit, searching for shit. But you tell me if I need to be making specific skill checks for things.
You don't, in terms of like examination and perception and all that, like looking at things. You don't necessarily need to be making a passive check as you go. If you try to do things like, and you guys don't really have a reason to do this right now, but if you were trying to like stealth, like move quietly, there as a group, there are rules for that, and that you would need to let me know.
Okay. I don't think we'd be doing that at this juncture.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take you to deck B. You all sort of go down this junction, and you guys have to go down one at a time. It's basically like a conduit ladder from one deck to another. And you find yourselves in deck B, right here. As you climb down this ladder, you see occasional. It was less so up on deck A, but as you climb down to deck B, you start seeing like some splatters of something on the wall, some like scorch marks. It looks like some activity happened here. It's not like that. This does not look pristine, like what do you call it? Encased in ice for 73 years to you.
Yeah.
It does look like this has been damaged by some conflict happened here. But it's impossible from what you've seen so far to sort of gauge that or figure out what that might be.
Something went
What happened on this ship?
Something went wrong. We know they jettison, or do we know they jettisoned the entire module of the ship? Seems to be gone,
The
right? You
science,
saw that?
yeah, the science module, which is basically like a giant laboratory,
Okay.
it has been jettisoned. Yes, you do know that.
Explosions, splatters, and a missing laboratory.
Feel like that Wilson knows something that she ain't telling us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she would have something clever to say at that.
She's texted me how upset she is about the baby being just
Oh, no.
absolute pain in the ass. Hopefully she'll be able to join us at some point. All right.
Private channel, by the way. So Wilson didn't hear that.
Let's keep our heads on a swivel. I don't know if it's possible for explosions to be rigged this long, but we'd be ready for anything here.
Are we on the map? Are we on Junction B1 or Stairwell?
You are at Junction B1.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And now I think we want to go north towards the bridge.
Yep. But you should be able to open all of these doors yourselves just by clicking on them. And that is you. And by the way, that is you manually like sliding these.
Yeah.
Normally electronic doors. It is you manually sliding them open.
Oops. Right. I will carefully come out there, look around.
Yep. You see, this hall doesn't look too bad. It looks. I mean, it's very dark. Your flashlights are only going like so far into the darkness.
That's so creepy. It's a dark spaceship.
It's just dark hallways, and it is below freezing, and yeah.
Right, open the door to the bridge manually.
Yep. All right. You step into the bridge.
Okay. Do you want us to split it?
Not yet. Let's figure out what we're dealing with, if we can. This is a very large ship.
Yeah, you step onto the bridge, and what you immediately see, I mean, your flashlights don't even go to the end of this bridge, as you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But as you start looking around this bridge, you note that
Scorch marks?
yes, the whole left side of this bridge seems to have been set on fire.
Shit.
There are scorch marks and soot covering almost the entire left side of the bridge. There are stations and monitors that you, Captain, you would recognize, or both of you would recognize, what standby illumination looks like. They're just sort of giving off this eerie orange glow, but no information is currently on them. You see nothing out of the front end of the ship. Well, as you get closer to the front end of the ship, you can't see out onto the stars in front of you. And you recognize that in a standby situation, the blast shutters on the viewports would be lowered.
I'm gonna radio back to I guess Cham and Wilson. Mention the fact that we've made it to the bridge. There's no power.
By the way, they are. You can absolutely do that, but they are like watching you from your the video cameras on your compression suits. So I assume.
And are we in real time communication or?
Yes, okay. You are. You can either do like an open channel, talk to everybody. You can also, it's the Guardians 3 thing. You can also close a channel to
orange
one
is for
person.
blue is for red. That was a funny game.
Green is for everyone. Yeah, you can either do an open line of communication where you're kind of speaking to everyone, or you can close your line of communication to talk only to certain people with. Right now, it wouldn't be private to Wilson or Chan because they're both on the bridge. It would be a private communication to the bridge.
Yeah.
That they're both on, but yeah.
Yeah, I would just let them know on the bridge as part of an update, just that we've made it to the bridge. There's no power, and are you seeing all this damage? I just kind of look over, scan everything.
Yeah, pan it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear Chan come back and say, "Yeah, we see you, Captain. Yeah, that looks fucking fucked up, doesn't it? What the hell happened in there?
Very bad happened here.
Jesus. Is that It's hard to see, Captain. It's really dark in there, and your flashlights are only lighting up so much. Was there a fire in there?
You believe that's what causes scorch marks? Yes.
You guys can look around at the different stations. There is a display table in the center